The next module, 1.2 of the Security Plus exam, the next section of module 1 of the Security Plus exam is, in a given scenario, can you analyze potential indicators to determine the type of attack? Now, the common theme behind things like malware, password attacks, physical attacks, adversarial artificial intelligence or adversarial AI, supply chain attacks, cloud-based and on-premises attacks, and cryptographic attacks. You have the concept of cybersecurity threats and vulnerabilities. Now, when we talk about malware, it's a broad term, but this is going to refer to any software that is designed to harm or exploit vulnerabilities in a computer system. This is going to include viruses, worms, Trojan horses, ransomware, and spyware. Password attacks are going to refer to methods used to gain unauthorized access to a system by cracking or guessing passwords. So when you see a term used like cracking, that's generally going to refer to a password attack. So they're trying to break apart either a hash sequence or a cryptographic sequence that your password is utilizing. So if you see any terms that say cracking or guessing, it's generally going to be in reference to password. This can come in the form of brute force attacks, dictionary attacks, or phishing scams. Now, brute force is kind of just that, right? It's like a battering ram. We're going to hammer at that password over and over and over and over and over again until it either times out or you get your account locked. Dictionary attacks is similar. It's similar to the description, where there's a set of known passwords that are widely used, so birthday sequences, street names, dog, cat names, popular children's names, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So there's a whole dictionary of terms that they're going to use and throw it at that login and see if it's going to work. So those are dictionary attacks. There are physical attacks, and these refer to methods that are used to gain unauthorized access to a system by physically tampering with the hardware or infiltrating a facility. This can include stealing equipment, messing with servers, or even shoulder surfing, which is just looking over somebody's shoulder to see as they're typing in their password. For example, it can be as simple as somebody looking over your shoulder to see your PIN number, so that if they rob you later, they know how to get access to your bank account. This one is going to be much more prevalent based on the current use of AI. So adversarial artificial intelligence. This refers to the use of AI to attack or exploit vulnerabilities within a computer system. This can include using AI to generate realistic but malicious inputs. So things like deep fake images or audio, or using AI to evade detection by traditional security systems. So what's happening now with adversarial artificial intelligence is people are mimicking the voices of individuals that are known to their desired targets. So, for example, if there's a recording of someone who is a target, a recording of their wife, son, daughter, mother, they can replicate their voice and then use that via the phone. Sometimes they can use their images, but in general, it's using voice or image of somebody that is known to the target so that they can then gain the trust of the target. Yeah, so vishing like a voice attack, right? So somebody calling you on the phone and they sound like somebody that they may sound like your manager. They may sound like they could sound like a celebrity, or and I hate to say it, but the elderly are very susceptible to this, right? So using artificial voices to convince somebody to perform a certain action. And just FYI, we're going to go over a lot of terms. So if you have any questions or if you want to go into anything more in depth, just drop it into the chat and we'll we'll respond as soon as possible. So next attack is supply chain attacks. Supply chain attacks are going to refer to the use of vulnerabilities in the supply chain of a product or service to gain unauthorized access to a system. This can include installing malware on hardware before it gets shipped or compromising software updates. We've seen examples of this. And I hate to target a specific group, but China is well known for installing additional software on devices, specifically mobile phones that are shipped around the world. So for example, the mobile phone producer Huawei was blocked from selling phones within the US I'm not sure if they're still blocked, but it was for a while because it was found that they had malicious software in their phones that would either record data and transmit it back to their servers, or were actually taking information that was stored on phones that were meant to be secure. So one thing that government agencies have had to step in and do is control the entire supply chain. So you have to know exactly where every piece of equipment is manufactured, make sure it's secure, make sure that the assembly occurs in a secure facility. And when those are shipped, that at each stage of shipment, everything is tracked. So, if I go to work tomorrow and I need to get a new laptop, I can't just go to Best Buy and just buy a laptop off the shelf. It has to come from a specific supplier. Next, we have cloud-based versus on-premises attacks. These attacks refer to the difference in security measures and vulnerabilities between systems that are hosted in the cloud and systems that are hosted on-premise. Cloud-based systems often have different security considerations than on-premise systems, such as shared responsibility for security. That generally means that when you have your servers in a cloud environment or in a multi-tenant cloud or a public cloud, there are different sets of risks, and there's also different sets of responsibilities. So some of the responsibility falls on the cloud provider. So for things like physical security of their data center, that's going to be their responsibility. For things like logins to your application that's hosted on their servers, that's going to be your responsibility. So if you have everything on premise and everything is housed within your facility, then you don't have to worry about not knowing that an attack is occurring. But there's much more responsibility that's on your shoulders as far as physical security, the security of the data in transit, the security of your physical hardware, right? So you have more to worry about, but in a different way. You have more responsibility. And then we have cryptographic attacks, and these refer to methods used to break or exploit vulnerabilities in cryptographic systems. This can include cracking encryption keys, exploiting implementation flaws, and using what are called side channel attacks to extract information. When they talk about cracking cryptographic keys, you'll notice on the test that they'll refer to specific cryptographic algorithms, and you'll have to know which ones are secure and which ones aren't secure. Now, just because cryptography is used doesn't mean that it's secure. There are algorithms that have been hacked and have been cracked, so the hackers know how to. It's almost like having a translator for this set of numbers, right? So if you get a set of numbers that it's like 256 digits, right? Now those 256 digits are going to represent a password, and you have to have a specific translator that can turn that 256 digits into a set of text, right? And hackers are always looking for that translator. Now, for some older algorithms, they've figured out the translator, so they're no longer secure. Now, the 256 digits may not be secure, but 1,800, I'm just making up a number now, 1,865 digits, that's going to be more secure. They haven't figured out the translator for that yet. Now, all of these terms are referring to different types of cyber security threats and vulnerabilities, and they vary in terms of the methods used to attack the types of systems targeted, right? You know, and the types of vulnerabilities are important to understand and stay aware of, mainly because you have to know what they are in order to protect yourself and your organization from cyber attacks. Okay, checking the attendance. All right.